Well, g'day, curd nerds. G'day, curd nerds. Well, 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 g'day, curd nerds. Welcome to Ask the Cheeseman, and this is where you can learn about cheese making at home. This is episode 193. And for those who don't know, I'm Gavin Weber, and I will try to answer your cheese making questions today. Don't forget that we are live on YouTube, Facebook, 2 channels on Facebook, and Twitch. Okay, so that's me out the way. Now, as I normally start the show, big thanks goes out to all my financial members who keep the show running. Big thanks to all the YouTube members. There are no new ones this week, but there is a new patron, Michael J. Reynolds. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate your financial support. Also, what I'm going to include is the weekly stats on the Curd Nerd Academy, which is a beginner's cheese making course that I've developed. You can find that over there at courses.littlegreenworkshops.com.au. And a big thank you to Rhonda and Lynn for signing up for the course this week, and they're enjoying it as far as I can tell. At 30 minutes past the hour, we will also have the cheese making gallery, and that is where people can send in their cheese making photos. They've already done it. I've already compiled the list and all the comments and all that sort of stuff. And then at 45 minutes past the hour, or near the end of the show, I'm going to discuss a giveaway that I've got going, or will have, at 8:30 my time. So that'll be very exciting as well. Okay, let's get into the chat and say g'day to a few people. So first cab off the rank today was, who is it? James. Hello, James. Lovely to see you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello, how are you? Whalebone. Nice name. It's cool. Cease. G'day, Cease. Lovely to see you, mate. And who else we got? We got Ruth. Hello, Ruth. And Ruth's a member. You can tell by a little cheesy icon. I've also got C. Scarsden. I'll just call you C. And thank you for joining the stream. Paul. Hello, Paul. We've also got Nicola. G'day, Nicola. How are you? Fun Pants 94 always cracks me up. Wendy PJ, g'day Wendy, lovely to see you, mate. Patricia, hello Patricia. Cheese History, Julia, how are you? Lovely to see you, mate. Who else? Cecilia. I've got another Cecilia. We've got a Cease and a Cecilia. And where else we got? Let me have a look. I'll go to the other list now of people. We've got Gooseman. We got Herb. G'day Herb. El Vaccaro. Oh, I think I can't pronounce that. Liana, lovely to see you, Liana. Elmo, nice. I turn a cup over. Jonah, Mikkel. Who else we got? I can't understand Arabic, but hello from Algeria. Charlie, lovely to see you there, Charlie. And fantastic recipe, mate. Loved your video. Love the video. Well, I made the video, the cheese, but I love the recipe. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. David, hello. I have no toes. Yeah, your accent is adorable. Thank you. That's just wonderful. Judy, hello, Judy. Lovely to see you. Dominique, g'day, mate. Hobes, g'day. How are you? That's about it, I think. That's if I've missed anybody, hello, how are you? Love to see you if you're not in the chat. Okay. Don't forget that if you have a burning question, because there's lots of questions usually, and I can't get to them all. If you have a burning question, don't forget that you can do a super chat in YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, and the Curd Nerd light goes off, and I get to answer your question as a priority. So thanks, everybody. All right. Before I get going, cup of tea, coffee. Now, we had some technical difficulties last week. The camera that I'm using a Sony A6400 which has fantastic autofocus, and the lens I'm using has great field of depth. You know, you can tell all the rest of the back is all blurry and all that sort of stuff. And if I put my hand up there, instantly focuses. Take my hand away, it focuses. Great camera. It was overheating last week. For those who are into this technical sort of stuff, the problem was I had it set at 4K. 4K, obviously, just sitting in idle, wasn't recording. It's just outputting through HDMI into my computer. So you get this lovely crisp screen. It was overheating the camera. I've since turned it to 1080p, which is a lower resolution, 4 times lower. But that's what I stream in, so it was no big deal. So I did a test the other day. I managed to run it for, 5 hours before I gave up. I didn't keep going, but 5 hours and it never overheated. So it took me half a day to figure out what was going on after reading a lot of stuff on the internet. The other technical difficulty I was having was the curd nerd sign. I couldn't turn it off once it started. And a good suggestion from, I think it was Robert DeLucci. I don't know if he's on the stream this morning. He said, boost your Wi-Fi. And I went, well, the Wi-Fi is like, 30 meters that way. So, yeah, I put a node a little bit closer on the outside of the studio. So it covers the whole backyard. And consequently, the Wi-Fi is very fast now in the studio where I'm recording. So all technical difficulties out the way. That's fantastic. All right, so let's get on with questions about home cheese making, because that's why we're here. All righty. Let's see if I can find the first one. Elvac says, I just got a couple of dairy goats and figured out that if I'm going to breed/milk them, I better learn all about cheese making. Indeed. Now, there's a great channel. Let me go and see if I can find it. 2 seconds. Sorry, I'm just using my brain here. Doesn't always work. Go to my YouTube. Now, it's called Blue Cactus Dairy Goats. Now, there's lots of channels about goat keeping and stuff like that. I'll put it into the chitty chat box. So there's the link to Blue Cactus Dairy Goats. For anybody who's thinking of getting dairy goats, they've got a great channel there, all about the maintenance and all that about the goats they've got. I think they've got Nigerian dwarf goats or something like that. It talks about how to maintain the herd, how to make cheese from the goat's milk as well. There's some cheese making videos, which is a fantastic channel. So if you want to learn about keeping, goats, then yeah, that's the place to go. I don't have any farm animals, for those who don't know, because I live on a suburban block. We just don't have any room. And those who have checked out my vlog channel would know that. They would have seen all that sort of stuff. Anyway, hope your cheese making goes well, Elvac. Elmo says, I must say I thoroughly enjoyed your Parmesan tutorial and will be recreating it as soon as I can. Keep up the amazing work. Thanks, Elmo. Appreciate it, mate. Funpants64, 94. I shouldn't get confused with the names. I'm following your Parmesan recipe as we speak, about to cut the curds. I'm using store-bought 2% milk, and my milk started fizzing/hissing after adding lipase. Mild calf. Is this normal? Never heard of that ever happening. Did you add the powder directly to the milk, or did you add it to water first and rehydrate the lipase? Just if you can get back to me, then yeah. But I've never heard of that anyway. Unusual. Gooseman says, can I eat the cheese? Of course. Any cheese you make, you can eat it. Liana says, I make my cheeses in 4-litre batches. Is there a general rule on how I adjust my aging times compared to a 10-litre cheese? So it's just a little bit less than half a 4-litre batch. So it'll age a lot faster because the cheese will be a lot smaller. However, and it'll also dry out a lot quicker too, Liana. So you'll have to watch that. So if you're going to do natural rind cheeses and stuff like that, then yeah, that will be an issue. Backpack and waxing will, obviously have to do that. You do any natural rind cheeses, just be careful they don't dry out too quick, but they will mature a little bit faster. There's no rule of thumb. I couldn't find anything when I researched this question ages ago. So no, I don't really know. But yeah, I'd cut it in half to start with, and that'd probably be a fairly good gauge. Judy Max says, whoops, nearly slept in. G'day all. That's okay, Judy. Who's this from? This is from Dominic. Dominic's got a question, I think. Good morning, Gav. If I want to wrap a goat milk lactic cheese in vine leaf, how do I prepare the leaf? Do you blanch them, then cool them down, or do you soak them in a spirit? It's very similar to making dolmades, Dominic. So grab the vine leaf, the best, freshest looking one you can get. Cut the stem bit off, but don't destroy the leaf type thing. And just quickly blanch it in boiling water for about 30 seconds. That's all you need. It'll go a little bit limp and perfect to wrap over cheese if you want to. Use a vine leaf wrap. So that's perfect. I've just noticed we've got a super chat, but the sign's not going. Oh, yes, it is. The sign's going. And look at that. I can turn it off. There we go. Look at that. It worked. It's from Thomas, and I don't know. Thomas, where are you? You've done it again, Thomas. He must have a question. Thomas has a question. Put your question in the chat, Thomas, and I'll get to it as quick as I can, mate. But thank you so much for the $15 US super chat. That's magnificent. All right, so back to the questions. Let's have a look. All right, so that was Dominic's question. Sorry, a little bit of a pause there. Right, question from C. Scarston says, "Hello, Gavin. I'm Gavin. Can you use goat milk powder for cheese making?" Now, I have heard that you can. I've tried it, and I didn't get a very good result at all. The curds were very sloppy. Didn't set a very good curd at all, but some people do use milk powder. But they make the fresher cheeses like Sherv, which is basically a cream cheese made with goat's milk. And there's a link in the recipe. Now, I forgot to mention that Kim is still recovering from her operation, so she's not moderating today. So I can't put any links up, unfortunately. I've got some show and tell, but I won't be able to do any links or anything like that, unfortunately. So hopefully that helps. You could try it, but I would only try it with fresh cheeses. If you can get a good curd set, then go for it. A little bit of experimentation, though, would work. Heidi says, you're drinking coffee, I'm drinking beer. Good old time differences. Indeed. I don't particularly drink beer this early in the morning. But only like if I work a night shift. I used to work a night shift years ago. I would have a beer when I came home at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's all relative, really, isn't it? Says, hey, Gavin, don't mind my username. Okay, yes, maybe change that. Can you see this message? I have a question about cheese. Yes, I can. I won't put it up on the screen again next time. Well, I've got to be quicker. That's why I need a moderator. Heidi says, I follow Blue Cactus Dairy and 2 other goat cheese making YouTube pages. If you allow it, I can share them here. Yeah, just the names, Heidi. Yep, that'd be fabulous. Share it with the community in the chat. Fun Pants 94 says, "What are some of your favourite cheeses you can vac pack after air drying? We've been making Colby, Budakaiser, Havarti, and Gouda." Yeah, so anything that you can wax, you can vac pack basically, except some of the softer cheeses. Like Havarti tends to flatten a little bit because of the change in atmospheric pressure. It's a very moist cheese. Budakaiser similar as well. Sometimes that's a bit of an issue. But the harder cheeses, no problems at all. In fact, even up to the hardness of, say, Parmesan, because we make cheeses in such small batches, it's better to vacuum pack than not, because that way they don't dry out as much. The longer aging cheese. Look, I've even vacuum packed cheddars and farmhouse cheddars, stuff like that, and they all work fine. There's no big deal. Elvac says, "Thanks for the link. They were given to me as a companion for my horse." Funny how things work out. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, goats are funny. I like them. Liana says, my smoke flavored Gouda is vac packing and aging, but has pink between the bag and the cheese. That's a fluorescent mold. So probably best to take it out of unless it's something to do with the smoky flavor that you may have rubbed on the outside. That should really be brown though, but I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, if you think it's a fluorescent mold, then yeah, you're gonna have to take it out of the vacuum packing, Liana, and scrape that off, and then re-vac pack in some fresh packing. So yeah, that's my advice to you. Okay, now before I get on to the next question, I do have another thing that I want to share. Last week, let me find the little box thing. Okay, so last week, somebody asked me a question about how do you adjust the milk fat. So if I want to make a Parmesan, for instance, and the recipe says 2% fat. Now, if you can't get a 2% fat milk, it may be challenging, right? So a big thank you to Ian Anderson, who reached out to me and found an article on cheesescience.org called the Pearson Square. I'll just share that with you in a second. It works. It works. Just looking for the window. Right here. So there we are. This is called the Pearson Square. So you can see it's cheesescience.org. So that's the place to go for all this cheese sciencey stuff. So this is a quick way to calculate the target milk fat for cheese making. So don't mind all this gumph. You can read that. That's no problems at all. But the great thing is there's a little calculator down here. So our milk in Australia is about 3.4. This is standardized milk. And if I want 2%, which I do for, say, Parmesan, and I've got skimmed milk of about, or semi-skimmed milk of about 1.1%, what am I going to need? So the ratios I'll need is I'll need 0.9 parts of whole milk to 1.4 parts of skim milk. Or down here, so 1,000 pounds. Let's say we're making a 1 kilo batch. What's that? 2.2 pounds, roughly. So I'll need, and it's in pounds, not kilos, and not liters. So you'll have to weigh it. So yeah, I'll need 0.9 pounds and 1.3 pounds of skim milk, and whole milk a lot less, to get to 2.2 pounds, which is roughly 1 kilogram. Now, if I use 10 liters, which is about 10 kilograms, which is 22 pounds. So that's the amount of pounds I would use for a 10-liter batch. So yeah, so a pretty good little tool, the Pearson Square. So yeah, you can go and check that out at, I'll pop the link in the chat box, and that will help the cheese makers. So I may do a little video on that as well, which is a good thing to do. Alrighty, so we'll just kill that. And oh, that's the next thing. Don't show that. Right, that was a teaser. Alrighty. Oh, live. It's crazy. Alrighty, so that was that. Back to the other questions. Let's have a look. Sorry, I'm just scrolling back to where I was. Right, so this is in Chinese. I can't speak Chinese. I think it's Chinese. It says, "Hi Gavin, any idea of how to make vegan rennet in a tropical country, Southeast Asia? I use regular rennet as well, but it's not easily available where I live." Okay. So there are a couple of solutions. So I don't know if it grows in your area. You may have to import it. You can buy a thing called cardoon thistle rennet, and that works very well. So that's totally vegan. There are lots of vegetarian rennets, if that's what you mean, and they're fermented Cheeseman, and there are other ones that are fermented from a mushroom, which I can't remember the name of mushrooms. We have another super chat, and I will get to that in a second. Paul, thank you very much for that. So try cardoon thistle. Another idea to use, you can use, the Romans used to use it all the time. It was called fig sap. So, the fig tree, I think fig trees are fairly, they're in the tropics everywhere. I don't know the ratio, so you may have to do some research online because I've never used it. But yeah, normal fermented Cheeseman is vegetarian, not animal rennet. So if there's any confusion there. Okay, Richard says, I received some C101 mesophilic culture. Do you have any recommendations for what type of cheese I could make with it? Yes, indeed. We do have some recommendations. Let me think. So it's the standard culture. So where I say use a mesophilic culture, that's the one to use. It contains 2 strains of bacteria, Lactobacillus lactis subspecies lactis, and Lactobacillus lactis subspecies cremoris. So 2 bacterial strains that are commonly found in raw milk. And that C101, which is from New England Cheesemaking Supply, that's their brand of mesophilic culture. You can make all sorts of cheddars, and anything where I say normal mesophilic, it'll be fine. Okay. And thank you. This is from the person in Chinese, which I can't read the name. I'm sorry about that. Thank you so much for inspiring me to make cheese. I've only been doing fresh cheeses for now due to lack of rennet. Well, hopefully that'll help you out. Okay, next one's from Santiago and says, "Hi Gavin, I'm starting to learn about cheese making. I love matured cheeses, so I want to try doing one. What cheese do you recommend? I have access to 100% raw milk." That's fantastic. So we'll get to this one, and then I'll get to Paul's super chat. Sorry, Paul, I've missed you. So look, first hard-ish sort of cheese, I would recommend. Sorry, Hamish is in the background, and you can probably see that in a minute. There, he's down here, down the bottom. No, down there. Sorry, Santiago, I'm getting distracted. So what do you want to try? Well, simple ones first, obviously. So try the first matured cheese I made was Caerphilly. All right, as far as I'm concerned, that's a beginner-ish size sort of cheese. It is a little bit technically difficult, but you'll get the hang of it. Just go and watch the Caerphilly video. And the good thing about it is that it matures within 3 weeks. So you'll know if you've made a mistake or not. Most of the time, it will turn out perfect. A lot of people have no issues whatsoever making Caerphilly, and they've had some fantastic cheeses. The next one after that, I would try a farmhouse cheddar, which is what's known as a stirred curd cheddar. And that is so simple to make. Instead of doing the cheddaring process, which is a little bit daunting for beginners, I suppose, you just stir the curds. It's very simple. And you get a fantastic cheddar flavor out of that cheese. So go and check out any of my farmhouse cheese recipes as well. Very easy to make. Thanks for your comment, Santiago. So FunPants94 says, follow up from previous question. The lipase was diluted 40 minutes in advance with half a cup of water. The milk is pasteurized, homogenized. Shouldn't have done any fizzing. There should be no reaction whatsoever, and should be no carbonates in the lipase powder anyway, which would react with, say, the acidity of the milk. All righty, so let's get to Paul and his super chat. Where is it? Paul, $50. Holy cow. Thank you so much, Paul. I should have got to that faster. I'm an idiot. Hi, Gavin. The 1 gallon milk to 1 pound of cheese yield works for me, but can you explain why it can be plus or minus 10% at times? This is to help with med costs. Med costs? Okay. Don't understand the med cost thing, but yeah, so yield. So it depends on the lactation cycle of the animal. How much protein and milk fat are contained in the milk. So it's very cyclic. So at the start of the start of the lactation period of the animal, there is a substance that comes out called colostrum, and that's mainly protein, hardly any fat whatsoever for the developing calf. And as that tends to go away at about the 2-week mark, maybe a little bit, between from when the calf is born till about 2 weeks, can be a lot earlier, depends on what the mum thinks. And yeah, it's all very cool. So I'll just get that super chat there. Thank you so much, Cheryl. I'll get to that in a second. As the cycle goes on, the more fat's produced in the milk, so therefore you'll get more yield as well, which is absolutely fantastic. And that's why it can fluctuate between plus and minus 10%. Also, if you're buying, say, standardized milk, even though it says like, say, 3.4% fat within it, you can get other milks like Jersey milk, which is like can be up to 5.5% fat, and the yield is much higher. If you use a different milk, like goat's milk, you get a higher yield as well, more fat and protein content, and sheep's milk even more, and then buffalo milk, massive amount of fat in that milk, and you'll get a fantastically high yield. So yeah, so that's it. Depends on the milk. It depends on the lactation cycle. So hopefully that's explained a little bit to you. You can do some further research if you like, but that's kind of the crux of it, Paul. And thank you so much for the $50. I'll have to go and treat myself to some fancy cheese making gear now. All righty, very cool. All right, let's get to Cheryl's super chat. Cheryl, $20. What's going on here? Thank you so much, Cheryl. So says, what cheese making book is sometimes on your computer when you're making cheese? Oh, sorry, on your counter when you are making cheese. Glad, Kim, and you are doing better. Thanks, Cheryl. So there's a, do I have it? No, I don't have it with me. Sorry, in the other studio, I've got all my books. I did get a fair few recipes from, and it's another super chat. Thank you so much, Toby. I'll get to you in a second, mate. Cheryl, so the book that I got a lot of recipes for the channel from is 200 Easy Cheese Making Recipes by Deborah Amron's Boys. So that is a really good book. It was unavailable for a long time, but I think you can get it on Amazon again now. It's a paperback. It's not a hardcover. It's paperback. It's not a hardback. It's a paperback. But great book. I think I've used every recipe I want to use out of that book, which is now why I'm trying to find other sources for cheeses. I managed to get somebody sent me a Brazilian recipe the other day for a cheese that's served on the beaches there by vendors, and it's on a stick, and you roast it over coals. I think it's called Keijo koala or something. It's not koala as in koala bear, but over coals. I couldn't pronounce it. Anyway, but yeah, that's the book. I do use my own recipes if I'm going to repeat a recipe, and you can find those in the merch shelf down below. Hint, hint. Thanks so much, Cheryl. And there's one from Toby, which is £10, which is about $1,000 Australian. Thanks, Toby. Appreciate it, mate. Says, hi, Gavin. Can you tell Erica and me to get on with making another cheese, please? We haven't made one for months. Cheers. Good to see you, and all the best to you and Kim. Right, Toby and Erica, this is for you. Make more cheese. Been a serious face. So make more cheese. Get on with it. If you don't make it, you can't eat it. And eating cheese is one of life's rare little pleasures. So get on with it. All right. Thanks for the super chat, mate. Appreciate it. All righty. Thank you. Yes, I will get a gift for Kim with that $50 from Paul, which is fantastic. All righty. Let me have a look. I know I've got some more questions here somewhere, but my alarm went off a second ago, and that was for the gallery. It is 8:30. So let me just pull up the photos. Got some great pictures today. Let me just share this. All good. Sharing happening. Yay, there we go. There's little me down the bottom. All right, so the first one today is a bit of a diagnosis. And I did, this is from Liana, and she is in the chat. Thank you, Liana, for sending in these photos. This is, she had a problem with really sloppy curds. And this may answer some of the questions. So, yeah, so we'll that people may have. So, hang on, she's got a little chitty chat box here somewhere. Liana, there it is. Right, so Liana says, these are the pictures of my stabilized paste camembert. I added the culture, waited a few hours for the pH, added the rennet, and came back to this. The curds had sunk, not floating, and were consistency of dough, while all of the whey had separated and risen to the top. Are you still thinking contamination? No, I've changed my mind on that. Usually if the curds float, Liana, the it can be infected, the milk, raw milk. I think that's what Liana was using. We've had a discussion offline. And what happens is it gets infected by, God, wish my brain had worked. Anyway, it's a bacteria, which is not good. It's called early blown cheese. Now, this has not happened in this case, in this picture. So moving right along, we can see that it's just a little bit of butterfat on top and lots of whey. That's what the curds look like. So there's a couple of things that I might, that I've recommended to Liana. And that is that there may be something wrong with the rennet for sure. Now, she's using raw milk. I don't think it's infected or anything like that. I would check the rennet for sure, because that looks like it just has been under-renneted. And this can happen when you're using raw milk. The curd usually sets rock solid with the amount of rennet that I put into my recipes. Now, if your rennet is getting on the older side, this does tend to happen as well. One of the other things that I suggested to Liana was I wondered if it was heat treated, but then I found out that it was just raw milk. So depending on the lactation cycle as well, this can happen late in the lactation cycle, that there's not enough calcium to get the curds to set properly. So adding just a little bit more calcium chloride to the milk will also help. I see this sort of sloppiness in store-bought milk when you don't add any calcium chloride. There's not enough calcium there to form the casein matrix that makes the curds a solid structure. So there's some initial thoughts, and there it is there. That cheese would have been perfect if you had have drained it through some tight weave butter muslin, and you would have got yourself a nice, cream cheesy thing. But anyway, I hope that helps, Liana. Yeah. So moving on to the next picture. This one is from Patricia, and Patricia's got a story here for her one, and it's a fantastic looking cheese. Look at that. So it's just for those who can't really see it, or maybe able to see it. There's white mold on the outside. There's an ash line just under that, and then there's an ash line in the middle. So the cheese is called Fundy Fog, and there's a whole story behind it. It says, "Hi, Gavin." Oh, hang on, I'll put it in the middle so I can read it. "Hi, Gavin. Several in the Ask the Cheeseman chat have asked if you can make a version of Humboldt Fog, which you said is not available in Australia. Humboldt Fog isn't available in my part of Canada either. I decided to research this much requested gem and used it as inspiration for an original cheese. Per research, California-based Cypress Grove created Humboldt Fog, an award-winning bloomy rind goat cheese characterized by both an ash coating like Valencia and an ash midline like Morbier. It is aged 60 days and appears to come in 1 pound or 4 and 5 pound wheels. My ash and bloomy rind version uses 8 litres of cow's milk, not goat's milk, sourced from Nova Scotia's Annapolis Valley, close to the Bay of Fundy." I hope I'm saying that right. "I add a touch of lipase as a nod to the caprine inspiration and got 1.5 pound wheels. I sampled the first after aging for 35 days, which see the photo, which is there. That way. And the second will get opened after 42 days. The paste is fairly golden from the Jersey Holstein milk combo with a smooth mouthfeel and lightly acidic snap. The cream line next to the rind is a little bit peppery, and the rind is clean and mushroomy. This cheese is delicious with slices of apple and pear. I named my cheese Fundy Fog. I hope you and Kim are doing better and better. Looking forward to seeing Ask the Cheeseman again soon." From Patricia. Thanks, Patricia. That is a fantastic looking cheese. Have you got a written recipe for me so I can replicate it if possible and share it on the channel? Giving full credit to you, of course, Patricia. That is a fantastic looking cheese. Thank you so much for sending it into the gallery. The next one is from, who's this from? It's from Rex. And Rex lives in the Philippines, in Manila. Manila in the Philippines. Right. So Rex says, "Hi, Gavin. I made a couple of Munster cheeses and look very good. And took very good care of them for a couple of months. I just cut one open. Exhibit B. There we go. And they all seem to have blue mold in them. I do tend to buy milk in large lots from a dairy here in the Philippines and tend to make a cheese a day to rid of the minimum 70 litres of milk I have to buy for a direct deal. I've been making blue one day, washed rind the next, bloomy rind the next. I think I'm getting some cross-contamination. Maybe my cheese cave, from my cheese cave or the equipment I'm using." So I've had a discussion with Rex, and yeah, he agrees that it's like cross-contamination. But he told me that it tasted absolutely amazing. So the washed rind flavor on the outside, which is smooth some of the inside paste here. I don't know if you can see my pointer. So this bit here tasted like washed rind, like a Tilsit or a Munster, sorry. And then the inside had that typical creaminess of the blue cheese. So absolutely fantastic. Now there's another, here we are. This is from Rex as well. And he said, "This is my Port Salut. It's almost 2 kilograms and a month old." So that looks really good. So really into washed rind cheeses. Well done, Rex. Is there any? There's another shot of the same Port Salut. So that's going to be fine. Oh, and another shot. We've got lots of shots, 3 shots. So that's a good look, and I like your little kitchen setup there. That looks really good as well. Well done, and lots of cheeses, obviously, in the background in the ripening boxes. Anyway, that's the gallery today. Thank you so much, everybody who sent in photos to the gallery. I really appreciate it. If you want to send something into the gallery, let me just find how we do it. So we go to my channel page. There we go. So you're searching for Gavin Weber over on YouTube. And you go to the About tab. So that's right at the end here. You see my little pointer spinning around. You go to About. Now, this only works on desktop, apparently, so I found out recently. Go down here to Details for Business Inquiries. If you're logged into your Gmail account or your YouTube account, click on this and you'll see my email address. You'll have to do one of those reCAPTCHA things to say you're not a robot. And then that's the email to send any photos of your cheeses that you're proud to send me. But yeah, please do. I love a great cheese gallery, and so does everybody in the chat. And we all let each other know that, you know, there's some amazing cheeses there. So please do so. That's absolutely fantastic. I would love to see your cheese making photos. All right, let's unshare that. Back to my head again. Alrighty. Right, so back to some questions. Oh, sorry. Before we go any further, and it's already started, I think, I have a giveaway for... do I have a giveaway? Let's see. Did it work? The giveaway. Hey, there we go. Okay, so there's a giveaway going on for this episode only. Let me just share that. Sorry, I'm sharing a lot of stuff, but it's very exciting. Okay, you may have noticed down in the description there should be a link to this page, which is a giveaway for Ask the Cheeseman episode 193. It's not a high valued thing. It's as you can see, there are 2 prizes. And hang on, let me just get them. Stay there, mate. It's okay. So let's get back to my head. Hang on. Where are we? How do we do that? We go like that. Right. So we are giving away, and I'm sending anywhere in the world because it's fairly light, a cheese trier. And a cheese trier is one of those essential cheese making tools that, you know, you can check the insides of your cheese without having to cut it open, without having to wreck the maturation of it. So cheese trier, I'll open the little box. We sell these at Little Green Workshops, but because I'm a nice man, we are going to give one away if I can get it out of the box. Oh, come on. Got it out the other day. No. Oh, there we go. Right, so there it is in all its glory. Just to make sure I'm not sending you an empty box. But yeah, it's a handcrafted cheese trier for smaller, you know, for 10-litre sized cheeses. Maybe even you could even try cheeses that are up to, say, 20 litres of milk. So that's the first prize. The second prize, as Kim got these made up, I didn't even know she did it a while ago. This is the only one left in existence. The other one I think I gave to Ruth as a present for something she sent me. So, g'day, Curd Nerd Love. It's a mouse pad. For those who don't know, you put your mouse on it and, you know, move it around over my face. Very exciting things to do. But that's the second prize. So we're going to draw that next Ask the Cheeseman. So at just after that stream is finished, I will continue the stream for about another 10 minutes and we'll do the draw and all that sort of good stuff. So find the description down below, go to the giveaway, put your email address in, share whatever you need to share to get entries. There's lots of entries for subscribing to all the various YouTube channels that Kim and I run. So yeah, fill your boots there, and hopefully you'll be in the running when you do it all. And yeah, win the cheese trier or the mouse pad. Like I said, I'm going to send it to anywhere in the world if I can get it there. There is a caveat, unfortunately, and I'll just read that off of the page that I've done for the competition. It says, Curd nerds from all countries are welcome to enter. However, some countries may have shipping restrictions that prevent shipping of the prize. If this occurs, we will be redrawing the winner. Prizes cannot be exchanged for cash. All winner decisions are final and no negotiation will be entered into. So that's my little terms and conditions there. But yeah, that will be good fun to get into the cheese making giveaway. So link in the description below. I'll be doing a separate video today to see how many people can enter, but that will be cool. Anyway, all good. Yeah, so let's get rid of that. All right, back to the questions. I've got how many? Let's see. How many people have entered already? Because I'm sure there's some people. 14 contestants already. Oh, you're a cluey bunch, I tell you. Get into it. All right, so that's all very cool. So back to the questions. I've got them. Sure, I've got some more here somewhere. Cheryl says, hi from Florida. Just put farmhouse cheddar in the press and washing up. Missed the beginning, doing a natural rind. My hubby's favorite. Very good. Well done, Cheryl. Oh, hang on. This is from C Scars. Hi, Gavin. Thanks for your replay. The goat specialist should be called Kim. I'm thinking about this. I will try it. But what means sloppy? Like German Weinberg, as in sloppy. I don't understand. Sloppy. Being sloppy means being runny. Like the picture in the gallery that that Liana showed. You know, the one with the curds didn't set. That's sloppy, if that makes sense. Okay. Let me just. Next question. Right, here we go. This one's from Liana again. It says, my Petite Blue had a shell of mold. When ripe, I know I can use it to make sauce, but how much of it would I add per gallon to make a new batch of Petite Blue? So there's stuff on the outside. I think that's what you're talking about. So when you scrape off that blue mold, look, I would use, especially it's fairly concentrated Penicillium roque 40 is the mold name. Then, yeah, I would add about half a teaspoon tops. And you'll get then good through the next cheese that you make because it'll still be viable. For the next batch of Petite Blue, I think that'll be fine. But if you're using, I know you're in the, I think you're based in the US, Liana. So the sachets that I use, the little, the Mad Millie blue mold culture combination, which is what I tend to use for those sorts of cheeses, might not be available. But yeah, use that Petite Blue, but you'll still have to add asada culture. It's an aromatic mesophilic for the Petite Blue. But yeah, the blue mold, yeah, you can harvest it by scraping it off from the other cheese. So yeah, no issues at all. Patricia says, hello, my fellow cheese whizzes. If you're loving the chat, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. Indeed, if you're on YouTube, I would very much appreciate if you hit the like button. If you are liking the content, I'm not going to force anybody to do anything. Jim says, good morning, Gavin and Kim. Great. It's great to catch you at the start of this live stream today. What time did you send that in, Jim? Oh, 23 past. Lovely to see you again, mate. All righty. Where else? Fun Pants says, can you explain direct set cultures versus non? Are the typical Danisco cultures and other Others direct set. Yeah, the vast majority, mate, are direct set cultures. In fact, just about every packet culture, unless it specifically states for making a mother culture, and they're very rare these days. A lot of cheese makers themselves, depending on the type of cheese they'll make, they'll just save whey from the previous batch of cheese the day before, which will hold all the viable lactic bacteria cultures, and use that as the starter culture. That's using a mother culture type thing. There are other packets you can buy for mother cultures that you have to then mix with milk, warm milk, let it activate over a period of time, and then you can put it in an ice cube tray. You know, the ice cube tray that you put in the freezer. Put them in that. Put them in the freezer. Then tip them into a bag, and there's a certain amount. I think Ricky Carroll's book, Home Cheese Making, does talk a little bit about mother cultures in that, but they're very rare these days. I don't sell any in any of my stores. All of my cultures are all direct set, which means you can add them directly to the milk. There's no culturing required, and that's the ripening time that you normally use that you'll see in all my videos. So hopefully that explains it. Let me think. Paul says, all of the cheeses I've made, friends and family think raw milk double Gloucester is the best. It is a nice cheese. So well done. Thank you, Paul. Med costs mean medical costs for Kim. Okay. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it. And that was that $50 cent. Yeah. So actually, in Australia, we're pretty good here. So we did go private health cover because we've got private health. We can afford that, thank goodness. Out-of-pocket expenses for that last operation that she had was about $890 Australian, and that's after Medicare, which is our universal health care, paid some of that, and private health paid some of it, and we were out of pocket $800, which certainly doesn't break the bank. You know, we can afford that. We had to take it out of our savings, but we afforded that. But thank you so much, everybody who super chatted today. That's paid for cheese stuff and obviously helping us live and survive. So that's good. Okay. Question from Emma says, how can I know if my cheese is enough salty? Okay, so it depends on the cheese you're making, obviously. So with fresh cheeses, it's your choice whether to salt them or not, because they're not going to last very long. They're eaten fresh. That's named fresh cheeses. You eat them straight away. So that's what you do. There's another super chat going off. Thank you so much. And that's from Cheryl again. Thank you, Cheryl. I'll get to your question in a second, mate, after I finish this one. Most cheese, the hard cheeses anyway, most of the cheeses are salted between 2 and 2.7% salt per weight of the curd. So that's your rule of thumb. If it's not salty enough, if you don't add enough salt, you'll tend to have a very bitter cheese if you're aging it. It's one of the signs that you don't have enough salt, because the salt inhibits the lactic bacteria, stops them from producing as much lactic acid, and stops the enzymes in the milk and the stuff that you've added, the rennet, when it breaks down, from doing a thing called proteolysis, which can cause bitterness. Okay. So let's get to that super chat that Cheryl just did. Cheryl says, what can you substitute for half a cup of buttermilk? So I would use, buttermilk is cultured with an aromatic mesophilic. So you could use something like Floridanica or any aromatic mesophyll, and use that at the rate of about 1/8 of a teaspoon per 10 litres of milk. So that's how you substitute the half a cup of buttermilk. Thank you so much, Cheryl. And $20, that's outstanding. Thank you so much. All right. We have got 6 minutes left. Let me see how many questions I can get out in 6 minutes. Somebody who hasn't asked one before. Oh, just this one here. This one's from Patricia. Says, happy to share the Fundy Fog recipe after sampling the second wheel. Okay, so right, you said that was at 46 days or something. Might wait until it's aged 56 to 60 days so I compare the results with the earlier wheel and recommend the best affinage link. Yep, perfect. Thank you, Patricia. Yeah, do that. And shoot it through. You know my email address, so yeah, go for it. That would be lovely. And I promise that I'll make Fundy Fog just like I did with Charlie's Karanjang Creamy. Recipes, throw them at me. I will make them. Ruth said around that Fundy Fog, says, my husband loves Humboldt Fog because Ruth's in San Francisco. So it's easy enough to get her to get Cypress Grove cheeses. I've not tried to do it, but you inspire me. All done. Thanks. I think that's well done. Well done. Lovely. But yeah, like once again, thanks everybody for those pictures. They're just inspirational. Okay. Let me have a look. Where's the next question? Is from Angela. I think Angela's got a question here. And she's on Facebook. It says, hey there. Hey there. So glad to be hopping on. I'm looking at possibly getting a new cheese press. I'm wondering if I would want a Dutch style or the regular spring loaded. Right now, I have just basically sheets of wood or weights. Just a couple of recommendations for you. If you don't have very much room in your kitchen, and you don't have enough, don't have a lot of room on your, the kitchen sink area, then a spring press is a lot smaller, it's more compact. However, you can't really vary the sizes of the cheese baskets that you put into that cheese, into that press. So with me and my spring-loaded press, I can really only use the 165 millimeter basket or smaller because it's not wide enough. The bars down the side restrict the size of the basket. One thing to think about. If you can get your hands on some big baskets, like that, goodness me, that 3 kilogram basket that I got from Lauder in the Netherlands that they sent me for a sponsored video, well, that's massive. That doesn't fit in the spring press. So you would have to use something like a Dutch press, which doesn't have those restrictions. It doesn't have those bars that would block the size of the press. So, so it's up to you. That's what they're the considerations I would take into account. Okay, we've got another super chat, and this is because Liana wants to get this one in urgently. Thank you so much, Liana. This is $5 super chat. Let me just kill the light. Says, my Emmentaler sat at 21 degrees Celsius as per your recipe and never expanded. It turned into a hard, waxy plastic disc. Any thoughts? Yes. So the propionic Shimani bacteria it's not very rugged, if that makes sense. It has a very short shelf life. I've even used it, and within its normal shelf life, and it does expire quite quickly. You'll also notice that the amount of propionic Shimani that I use in the Emmentaler recipe is different than what I use in the Jarlsberg recipe. If you're having issues with eye development and the nutty flavor and it doesn't turn into what you expect, then I certainly would up the amount of propionic Shimani bacteria that you're going to add to the cheese. Also, 21 degrees Celsius does sound a little high. Maybe in my recipe, I would use a lot lower temperature. Remembering that the cheese also, I would not, I wouldn't vacuum pack it. I'd wax the cheese, but make sure the humidity is kept up because that rind really needs to be supple. It sounds like it's dried out, Liana. So that seems like a bit of an issue. When it goes a hard, waxy plastic disc, it means too much moisture's been lost. So you will have to wax it next time if you haven't done so already. Vacuum packing, you could probably put it in the vacuum pack bag, not vacuum it, but just seal it. Somebody asked me that the other day, and I think that may be a good substitute if you want the cheese to expand, which it will. So there's some suggestions. I hope that helps. Well, we've come to the end of the show. Thank you so much, everybody, for sending in your questions. I'm sorry I didn't get to them all, but thank you so much, everybody. Without your questions, wouldn't be a show. And thank you, everybody, for the kind super chats. Both Kim and I appreciate it. And when Kim's back on the channel, she will help out and be able to put links and stuff in. Don't forget that let me have a look. Where is it? Don't forget that the giveaway has started. Let me have a look here. Here it is here. As I said, go to the link in the description below. It's 6 days left before I draw it. So that's just after the show next week. I will be announcing the winners. So pop your email address in there. Yeah, go for it. And you'll be in the draw for winning not only this mouse pad, but also this lovely cheese trier to check out your cheeses. Anyway, that's me, Gavin Weber. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you same time, same channel, wherever you're watching it, on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch TV. See you later, Curd Nerds. Have a great one.